So today we're going to talk about the death of the US dollar. And I want to be very clear on this. The death of the US dollar does not necessarily mean that we here in the United States are not going to find any value in the US dollar. What I'm saying is in other countries, they're not going to see the value. Because of that, we are going to see inflation here in the United States. And I want to explain why. But here's what's going on. This is something that we have heard rumors of. This is something that we've seen the warning signs leading up to this point over the past few years. But what happened just recently in Davos? Saudi Arabia, they just announced that they do have plans to accept a non-dollar oil trade. So because of that, this is going to create a huge problem here in the United States. But why? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Since I believe the early 1970s, the only way to pay for oil was by the US dollar. Now, because of that, other countries held US currency as a result. But if Saudi Arabia and other countries decide to now accept non-dollar oil trade, then there is no need for other countries to hold on to US currency. Think about that. The amount of money that other countries hold in some cases is insane. They have a lot of US dollars because they want to buy oil. Makes sense. But here's something that you need to understand. If they do not need US currency because they don't need to spend US currency to buy oil, what are they going to do? They must do something with that money. They're not just going to burn it. Well, they have some options, but they are limited. Chances are the number one option is they're going to go to the US Treasury. That is how they're going to get rid of that money. Now, if the US Treasury has more money, what do you think they're going to do with it? Think they're just going to sit on it? No. They want to get it in circulation. They're going to get it out to whoever's going to want it. Well, who do you think is going to want it? It's going to be the American people. That's who. Which means we're going to have even more money in circulation than we do right now, which is ultimately going to lead to additional inflation. This is a problem. But, and I want to be very clear on this, I'm not saying, because of this additional inflation, this is the time to go out and buy a new car and a new house because prices are going to go up. No. These things are actually going to drop in price. They're not going to go up. Now, I'm not trying to give you financial advice here, but if you believe that Saudi Arabia is going to move away from the US dollar, then you need to be prepared for what's coming. And that is that the United States is about to lose more of its power. And other countries are going to create their own path forward. And for many, that means it's going to be the death of the US dollar. Now, I want to be, again, very clear on something. If this happens, things like precious metals are going to explode in price. Gold and silver, they're going to go up. We are going to see increases in oil prices as well. But other assets that are tied to the US dollar, they are going to decline. For example, stocks and real estate are likely to fall because of this one thing. Now, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here, but if you own real estate or you're investing into stocks, it might not be the best move according to experts. However, they do say now is the time to invest into gold and silver. But again, that's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Now, here's what I can tell you. And again, I'm not trying to scare anybody here. But other countries have been looking for different ways to move away from the US dollar for many years. And with everything going on in Russia and Ukraine, with the relationship that other countries have with President Biden and the United States, some believe this is the time we are going to see this major change. Now, what can I tell you about what we should do to plan? How we can be prepared for this? Well, it's actually pretty simple. First thing you need to do is you need to pay off debt. Debt is not a good thing right now, especially if it's credit card debt. Credit card debt is the number one debt in the United States that cripples the American people. That we just can't afford to do anything because of credit card debt. And I say that now simply because student loan payments are on hold. In most cases, when the student loan payments are not on hold, student loan debt cripples the economy. Then it's credit card debt, and then according to reports, it's medical debt. That is the debt. So the first thing you need to do is get out of debt. According to experts, get out of debt first. Second thing is make sure you can increase your income. Increase your income no matter what. Now, why is this important when we are talking about the death of the US dollar? Well, again, pretty simple. If you can get out of debt, you can increase your income, and then we see the death of the US dollar, right? What's going to happen there is things are going to be, it's going to be time to start investing. Maybe into stocks, maybe into real estate, but most likely into precious metals. And if you don't have any money, then why would you even consider putting money aside to invest into precious metals? Second thing is, if you have a lot of debt, why would you invest into precious metals when it might make more sense to pay off your debt, because you would actually save more money there than investing into something like gold? Now, again, it's not financial advice, but the last thing I want to say is right now, the global economy is changing. We are seeing a shift. We are seeing many changes as countries get out of this, the past 3 years of this virus. Again, many countries are still dealing with it. The United States, we still have surges. In China, they are still obviously dealing with a massive surge. But as countries, get out of this and go back to a more normal life, things are going to change. We know the changes are coming. We've seen changes over the past 3 years. We're expecting these changes. The only difference is some people in some countries, they are a little bit behind. They're lagging. So the other thing I can tell you is mainstream media, as soon as you see something in CNN or Fox News or Bloomberg or anything like that, one of the big media outlets, you see them come out and say, it's the death of the US dollar. Well, it's too late. If you are seeing it on mainstream media, they are already going to be, probably 1 to 6 months behind. So it's when you see this on social media, you see articles, you see videos like this, take these as warning signs, because we are the ones that are going out there and doing the research, figuring out what's happening. Okay? Now, I'm not trying to say don't go and watch CNN or Fox News or Bloomberg or anything like that. They're all great, but at the same time, they are a little bit behind. They're lagging. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Be prepared. We are seeing signs that there is potentially, death to the US dollar. Doesn't mean it's going to impact us here in the United States as far as, dollar is going to be worthless. No, we're just going to have more of it. And that is potentially going to cause more inflation. So just understand what's going on right now. It's not just what is happening within the United States borders that is impacting us. Decisions made in other countries will impact us as well. So as soon as I get more information on this, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.